Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. And we are back in the studio, and Jack is here from Gorham Bike and Ski. Jack, how are you this morning?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you could be here. And we have already been talking. We've already done the entire interview before we went back on air. And we're going to talk about skiing and ski waxing for cross-country skis.
Yep.
And you brought some samples. So let's talk first about Gorham Bike and Ski and your location and hours and stuff like that.
Well, we're open 8 to 5 every day throughout the season. So the only day that will be closed from here on in is Christmas Day.
And this is up at the Jackson Ski Touring.
Yep, it's right in the Ski Touring Lodge. We'd love to have people visit us up there. We've got a great facility. We do a lot of waxing, obviously, and we've got some great skis. We're a Fisher concept store, which means that we carry only Fisher. We don't have to bring a lot of different skis in from, duplicating efforts.
Yeah.
We just have it from backcountry skiing to racing skis. It really it's the gamut of all different skis.
But Fisher has all the skis you need, so
That's true.
you're kind of right there. So
absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. So so one of the things that you brought some samples of some no wax skis, and I questioned that, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Some no wax skis, and so let's talk about with cross country skis.
Right.
Basically, you have two types of skis. You have waxless and wax, or however you probably have a better way to refer to them as waxless and no wax, because that would be the same thing actually.
Right. Well, a lot of people refer to no wax skis, and it really refers to this kick area, which is about a third of the ski right in the middle here, that has scales in it. For Fisher, we call it the Crown Series. They're probably one of the only ski manufacturers that is still trying to refine that kick zone, and there's modifications, there's different zones. They've got a double cut right underfoot, single cut to aid in the glide, because it's really important to get glide on your ski.
Right.
It makes it much more economical effort-wise. It's faster. It's just more fun.
Yeah.
And that relates to the skiing portion of things. So a no-wax ski refers to the scales. It means that you don't have to put in kick wax.
Yep.
But it's got this glide area up here, this glide area back here that really needs to be waxed. So that's a bit of a misnomer. And there are some other waxes like this liquid F4 that can be used as a topping agent. So say you would hot wax the glide areas on this ski, then you could use this as a topping agent, including in the kick zone here. It's thin enough that it's not going to build up, and it'll stop snow from grabbing on and losing kick.
Now, do you find, is that something that people come into the store and they're worried about whether they should have no wax skis, or whether they should wax them, what kind of wax? Is that kind of one of the bigger concerns that people have about which ski to get and how much time they're going to have to spend doing the skis? As I mentioned before, I would want to grab a ski and go. Right. And I would imagine I'm fairly typical that way. So you of course are going to let people know how they can easily do this, and you did that before. So I'm not scared anymore.
Absolutely. Some people just don't want to get bogged down in waxing. Oftentimes, what we'll have is someone come in and say, "Jack, wax these up for us," and we'll wax them up, have them ready the next morning. They may ski to the day, and then we'll wax them overnight, have them ready when they pick them up in the morning. They're ready to ski.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to do that is with a Crown Series or a no wax ski. Now there are different versions of cross-country skiing. There's backcountry, usually a little bit wider ski. In some instances, it has a metal edge on it. We've got touring skis. These happen to be touring skis. There are sport skis if you wanted to do a citizens race, something like that. And then there are racing skis. And the racing skis really are subdivided into skate skiing and classic.
Yep.
So all the waxing changes for a lot of those different skis, and really, when someone comes in looking for skis, it's an interviewing process.
Yeah.
Where do you want to ski? What do you want to do? Are you going to spend most of the time in the track? Are you going out the back door? And based on those decisions, we can usually guide them into a ski that's really going to work well for them.
Now, on the other side of it, I do want to throw out, I mean, there's all these options. If you have a ski that you have to wax, all these options how to do it, which I imagine could be a fun thing. It's kind of like fly fishing, knowing all the different flies. Sure. And I imagine there's a lot of satisfaction in waxing your skis just right, with the right conditions and the right wax, and then going out.
When you hit it right, it's really pretty sweet. Yes, and that's a big key. We talk about the ski really needs to be waxed, especially the glide areas here. That does two things for you. It makes your job as a skier easier because you're gliding further. It protects the base. The more wax that you get into a ski, the more protection you have. If you go over a chunk of ice, you're less likely to deeply damage the base if it's well waxed.
Just like waxing your car.
It's pretty similar in some instances. There's a little bit more heat involved with this.
Yes, yeah.
Opens the pores of the skis so we get the wax in. One of the big innovations over the last 10 years or so is a waxing process called hot boxing. And we've got a hot box up in Jackson. We prep the base, we put in a soft wax, put it in our hot box at an elevated temperature for 4 hours, let it cool over the night. The next morning, scrape it, brush out the structure in the ski, and then we'll harden it with a cold wax. Again, scrape, brush, and then we'll put on the wax of the day. Scrape, brush, brush again with a different brush, and then polish it.
So what I'm hearing is, if I want to do it, I bring it to you, and you guys take care of it for me.
That's the easiest.
I like that even better. Then I don't have to do it. I can say, and so you can do that all the time. Obviously, the tuning of skis up there.
Yes,
and you've been doing it for a few years too.
We have, yes, and one of the things, we talked about how waxing can be kind of an addictive thing. It can be a fun thing. It can be a social thing. Jackson Ski Touring Foundation, just downstairs outside of their rental area, they have a number of profiles and benches set up that you can go down there and wax your skis, talk to others that are waxing, find out what the best wax of the day might be. And that is increasingly more and more a social thing. So it's kind of fun.
I can imagine. That does sound like a lot of fun. And so you brought a whole bunch of different items here that just kind of shows the small selection of things you can get, the waxes you can get, so you can get your skis exactly the way you want them.
Exactly. We already spoke about ironing in the waxes on the glide zones. Sometimes if the ski gets dirty, and all skis get dirty, when you're skiing, that's just the nature of the beast. If it's really a wet snow, it can adhere to the base and you lose your kick. This F4 will sell more F4 than any other wax. It's a liquid wax. It almost goes on like a real highly refined car wax, but it's liquid. So you basically put it on from tip to tail, including the scale area. Go to the second ski, do the same thing, and then by the time you finish with the second ski, the first one is kind of flashed. Take the base off. It's got a little buffing pad, buff it tip to tail. Put the skis outside while you're putting your boots on so they acclimate to the temperature. And you're ready to have a great ski.
It sounds like fun.
It is.
And so right there, Gorham Bike and Ski, you can buy skis, you can get all the supplies you need, and you can have it all tuned up for you.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a one-stop shop, isn't it?
It really is. And more we're seeing a lot of people getting into snowshoeing. We have snowshoes, Tubbs snowshoes there. So we invite everybody in, check the store out, maybe spend some time at the Jackson Ski Touring Foundation, checking out some of our trails up there, getting to the mountains.
Well, that sounds awesome. Well, we have here for those who already have their skis, or once they buy them there at Gorham Bike and Ski, a free hot box waxing process gift card, we'll call it.
Yep.
$40 value for you. So we're going to give this away right now as a little bonus watch and win. And what's the question, Jack?
The question is, Swix has their headquarters in what Norwegian town that hosted an Olympic Games? And that was about 20 years ago.
Was it 20 years ago now?
Yeah, I think.
Good golly, yeah, actually, I think it was. Oh, here we go. Good morning, White Mountains Today. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello. Do you have an answer for us? Yes.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Is it Lillehammer?
It is Lillehammer, absolutely.
Nice job.
That is the correct answer. And who's on the phone?
Lori Cornell from Intervale.
Well, you have won a free hot box waxing process for your cross-country. Do you have cross-country skis?
I do.
You do? Well, there you go. So we have a certificate for you. You can go up to Gorham Bike and Ski right there at Jackson Cross Country and get your skis all tuned up. Have you been out yet on the skis?
I have. I've been to Jackson. We have Stephen Passes there.
Well, there you go. That's perfect. Well, hang on the phone. We'll get some more information from you. And so there you go. You got somebody who already knows you very well.
Excellent.
And so the free hot box waxing, that'll be a nice thing for them. So I imagine you're gearing up for vacation week, getting everything ready.
It's pretty excited. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more snow. I know they got the big groomers out the last 2 nights, so conditions today, yesterday were pretty outstanding.
Well, having the ski areas open before Christmas like this and getting a chance, and then everybody's going to get their skis, as Christmas presents, and then they can go out and enjoy it. So
one of the things I'll point out is that Swix, after 20 years, has reformulated a lot of their waxes. And if you see waxes that have an X like this on it, that's the latest and greatest. They came up with a wax system 20 years ago for Lillehammer. And in 20 years, they made a couple of minor adjustments. So this has been a 3-year process where they've really refined all of the waxes, and we'd be happy to talk to people about those changes whenever they stop in.
that sounds great. So Gorham Bike and Ski up there at Jackson Cross Country, open every day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Swing in there. If you don't have cross-country skis or equipment, go in and see them for that. If not, bring your stuff in, get it waxed, get it all tuned up. Jack, thanks so much for coming down.
Thanks, Rob.
And we'll see you again, and we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.
Merry Christmas.
This winter, 2 of the Nordic ski industry's biggest names have come to Jackson. Swix and Fisher have opened a concept store at Gorham Bike and Ski at the Jackson Ski Touring Center. Experience for yourself the latest skiing innovations, from skis to ski wax to tuning techniques, including stone grinding and hotboxing service. Gorham Bike and Ski in Jackson, New Hampshire is the only place in the country where you can see and touch almost the complete line of Fisher skis, boots, and poles. Plus, Gorham Bike and Ski is a Fisher demo center where you can try out the top skis and boots on some of the best trails in the U.S. Factory-trained techs will help provide ski tuning clinics for racers and quick tips for recreational skiers. With the world-class ski trails of the Jackson Ski Touring Foundation right outside the door, the Gorham Bike and Ski Concept Store is an unparalleled testing ground for new gear. Nowhere else can you find this combination of cutting-edge technology and performance, customer service, instruction and know-how, and award-winning ski terrain. Feel confident in your next purchase, maximize the performance of your gear you already own, and share feedback with the manufacturers. The Swix and Fisher Concept Store at the Gorham Bike and Ski, located in the Touring